I don't use food in training, not for separation anxiety. I might in some instances if it was a puppy and I wanted to teach them just general independence around the house. But that would be different to a dog that I'm training for separation anxiety. So I don't use food because, well, there's several reasons, but some dogs, when they're stressed, they'll gobble the food up, but they'll freak out once the food's gone. So we're not really achieving anything. We still end up with the behavior we don't want. If the food lasts for 20 minutes and you literally just need to go out for 20 minutes, yeah, it's a distraction. But if you need to go out for 4 hours, what on earth are you going to feed them that's going to last for 4 hours? You're just not, unless you end up with a very, very fat dog. The other reason is what happens is, I've had several clients where this is the case. Let's say it's a frozen Kong stuffed with food. Kong comes out of the freezer, given to the dog, out the door. Kong, dog, out the door. Kong, dog, out the door. And so what happens is every time that Kong comes out of the freezer, the dog's like, every time you give me this, you walk out the door and you leave me by myself and I'm scared. So eventually that association builds up, and what happens is as soon as that Kong comes out, the dog's already stressed, disappears into the other room, hides under the bed, runs away somewhere, because that Kong is in a sense being poisoned because of its association with the guardian's departure. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
get
so I prefer not to use food and just do just basic desensitization to safe absences only.
I like that word when you used it. Desensitization is such an important
Yeah.
word. It it's it's very, very important for them. Now, another thing is, how about crate? So we always learned, and we see it where the doggies they feel safe in their crate, and so what is your opinion on putting them in their safe home, their crate, and walking out the door?
Yeah. So this is again, with any kind of dog training, it depends on the dog and the individual, but in general, most dogs do better with more space than less. There's always going to be those outliers where the dog does that crate is a den-like place for that dog and they feel safer in the crate. However, most dogs, generalization, do better with more space. There are some European countries where crates are banned. The only time you're allowed to use a crate is if the dog's, got some medical issue and then you have to do it for convalescing. I do believe all dogs should be crate trained though, because if they do have an issue, a medical issue, and they have to spend time in a vet's or something, you want them to feel comfortable in a crate. So definitely crate train your dog, but first, just if you were doing separation anxiety training, just be aware that they're probably going to do better with more space in general. I know a lot of client or people will say, well, I can't do that because if I do that, my dog will literally destroy the house and like may have put holes in the wall or eat the couch. But the point is we're not leaving them to go over threshold where that's going to happen. So the dog shouldn't be doing those behaviors because they're not over threshold. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. And having cameras around the house. Now it's so easy to pick up these cameras. It's not anymore, expensive the way they used to be.
Mm.
And for pet moms and dads who are at work, they just pick up their phone and they can watch their dog. Now, when they see their doggy, does it help? Does it help? I wonder myself. And now you can speak into the app and the dog can hear you. I mean, it has speakers and mics and everything. Does that help, you think, in a bit? Has that helped in your experience?
It can really scare a dog. It will depend on the dog. It will depend if the dog has had any prior learning with it. So you wouldn't put the camera there, walk out the door, and then expect the dog to be fine when this disembodied voice comes through. They probably go, "Oh my goodness, where's that?
Yeah.
It could actually have the reverse effect. I have heard it work for some dogs, but yeah, I would probably I mean, you can't watch your dog all the time on your phone. So if you're at work, you can't
Yeah.
watch it the whole time. So, if your dog's doing something you don't want it to, you're not necessarily going to see it anyway because, your timing might be off. I'm not a fan, I'll be honest. I just
Yeah.
prefer just to do the training and make them feel safe.
Then another thing that I keep hearing is, I mean, I sleep with my dogs. Okay, I even have steps for the little ones. Okay,
Ah.
I've made like little steps for them, and I sleep with them. They say, I, you know, if you sleep with your pet, that makes it worse when you separate from them and go to work or go out with your friends.
No, that's I don't know who they are, but that's not true. In fact, the Mayo Clinic did a study about dogs and people sleeping together. It's actually really good for you and them. Um,
Yeah.
Dogs are social animals, but they're also social sleepers. So if you see, they want to sleep with you, so or not, they don't have to be on the bed, but they do like to be, close to you if they can. But there's plenty of dogs that don't sleep with their guardians and they do have separation anxiety. There's plenty of dogs that don't sleep with their guardians and they don't have separation anxiety. There's plenty of dogs that do sleep with their guardians and do have separation anxiety, and there's plenty that do sleep with their guardians and don't. So there's no real correlation at all. So yeah, look, I sleep with my dogs as well. So.
Hmm. What are your thoughts on medicating?
Yes, so I always say I'm not a vet, so I don't like to talk too much about medication.